Hello guys, welcome to Caesar's Teasers. In today's video, Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was born on February 27, 1932 in Hampstead, London, wrapped in a beauty so striking that even as an infant people paused to stare. Her violet eyes, ringed with dark lashes so naturally thick they looked unreal, would one day become her signature, but long before fame touched her life, Elizabeth was already a child who seemed carved out of another world. Her parents, both American art dealers living abroad, surrounded her with refinement, culture, and a sense of quiet privilege. Yet within that elegant environment lived a restless spirit, a girl with a steel core beneath porcelain skin. When war clouds gathered over Europe, the Taylors returned to the United States, settling in California. Hollywood noticed Elizabeth almost instantly. She possessed a presence beyond childhood, a strange mix of innocence and knowing grace. At the age of 10, she captivated audiences in Lassie Come Home, and by 12 she became a sensation with National Velvet, a film that transformed her from promising newcomer to national sweetheart. But while the world adored the young girl with luminous eyes, Elizabeth was crawling into something far more powerful, a woman whose charisma, talent, and emotional fire would soon make her one of the most unforgettable movie stars in history. Her transition from child to adult actress was seamless, almost fated. In films like A Place in the Sun, Giant, and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, she proved she was not merely a beauty, she was a force. She carried emotion truth like torch, illuminating characters with raw sensuality, vulnerability, and spirit. Hollywood crowned her as her queen, but Elizabeth lived with an intensity that even the camera would barely contain. She loved fiercely, argued passionately, and embraced life with a hunger that made her both mesmerizing and unpredictable. By the time she received her Academy Award for Butterfield 8, she had already become a global icon. Her role as Cleopatra in 1963 turned her into the highest paid actresses in the world and introduced her to the love story that would define her legend, Richard Burton. Their romance blazed like a star, intoxicating, tempestuous, endlessly consuming. They fought, they adored, they broke apart, and they came together again, unable to bear distance yet unable to end the fire between them. The world watched them with fascination, but beneath their glamour lived two deeply human souls trying to navigate love in a spotlight that never dimmed. Beyond fame and relationships, her life carried shadows. She endured serious illnesses, fatal illnesses, and lifelong battles with pain. She rose each time with the same regal defiance that shaped her childhood. Elizabeth became one of the earliest and most outspoken advocates of HIV/AIDS awareness at the time, when silence was widespread and stigma was cruel. Her activism saved lives, shifted conversations, and revealed the depth of her courage, a courage often overshadowed by headlines but rooted firmly in her heart. Her personal life was as controversial as her characters. They were shaped with passion, heartbreak, and resilience. She lived emotionally, instinctively, and without half measures. Every joy was immense, every sorrow unforgettable. And nothing reflected this more vividly than her marriages, 8 in total, though they belonged to 7 men. Each relationship a chapter of its own, marked by tenderness, tragedy, fire, and fate. Her first marriage at just 18 was to hotel heir Conrad Nicky Hilton Jr. It was a glamorous union on the surface, but beneath the diamonds and publicity lay instability and emotion turmoil. The marriage ended within months, leaving Elizabeth with the first scars of romantic disappointment. In search of steadiness, she married Michael Wilding, the gentle British actor who was 20 years her senior. With him, she found a quiet domestic comfort she had longed for. Their marriage brought her first 2 children, Michael Howard Wilding, born in 1953, and Christopher Edward Wilding, born in 1955. Elizabeth adored her boys with a fierce, protective tenderness, yet as her stardom soared and their age difference widened the emotional gap between them, the marriage slipped into a calm but inevitable dissolution. Her third husband was Mike Todd, was a great love she once called her biggest adventure, larger than life, bold, and endlessly affectionate. With him, she welcomed her daughter Lisa Todd, born in 1957. Their happiness was radiant but heartbreakingly brief. Mike Todd died in a plane crash only a year into their marriage. His death shattered Elizabeth. The grief was so deep that for a time she believed she would never recover. In her grief, she grew close to singer Eddie Fisher, Todd's best friend, who had comforted her through the tragedy. Their affair became one of Hollywood's great scandals, leading to Fisher's divorce from Debbie Reynolds. Elizabeth and Eddie married in 1959, but the relationship born from shared loneliness could not survive the weight of public scrutiny on her growing emotional restlessness. This chapter ended swiftly, but it opened the door to the most legendary romance of her life. On the set of Cleopatra, Elizabeth met Richard Burton, a man as fiery, brilliant, and tempestuous as she was. Their chemistry was volcanic, uncontrollable, undeniable, and endlessly intoxicating. They married in 1964, creating a union the world watched with fascination. Their love was passionate to the point of destruction. They fought, laughed, traveled, drank, made films, raised her children, and adopted a daughter together, Maria Burton, a German orphan who became the final piece of their blended family. Elizabeth and Burton's divorced in 1974, then married again in 1975, only to break apart once more. They loved deeply, but they burned too brightly to last. After Burton, Elizabeth sought to steadiness again. She married John Warner, an American politician destined to become a U.S. Senator. The quiet life of a political wife, far from the lights and the cameras, eventually left her lonely and depressed. Their marriage ended, but it pushed Elizabeth towards a stronger sense of self. Her final marriage was to Larry Fortensky, a construction worker she met during a rehabilitation program, a man who loved her without glamour, without pretense. The union was tender but fragile, ended peacefully in 1996. Through every marriage, through every heartbreak and healing, one truth remained constant in Elizabeth Taylor's life. She loved her children fiercely. Michael, Christopher, Lisa, and Maria were her anchor, grounding her through fame's storm and Hollywood's chaos. She delighted in becoming a grandmother many times over, finding in her family's laughter a peace that often eluded her in the world outside. She died of congestive heart failure at the age of 79 with her children by her side. In true Elizabeth fashion, she insisted on arriving at her own funeral 15 minutes late, a final wink to the world she once ruled. She wanted to be late to her own party. Don't forget to stay tuned for more good biographies. Like, share, subscribe only on Caesar's Teasers.